my housing situation earlier this year, I was living in a tent in my buddy's backyard off of Graves. So the tent, I was lucky enough to have somebody loan me a mattress, and I was able to keep the mattress and all of the bed sheets and everything. That was all in the house, and before I went to sleep every night, I would bring all the stuff outside. I'd set the tent up. The tent was just, standard, about a 6-person tent, big enough to fit a twin-size mattress in. And I would set that up. I'd throw in the mattress and the sheets and stuff, set it all up, and in the morning I would break it down. So do the same thing, just bring everything into the house and take the tents apart. So there wasn't any evidence afterwards. So anybody looking in, if they happened to look in, they wouldn't know. So. Yeah, when it started raining really heavily, that was tough because the tent wasn't. The tent's waterproof, but at least it said it was waterproof, but it didn't withstand the kind of rainfall we were getting. So I ended up buying an added tarp and throwing that over the top of the tent. But the worst part about it was, I think, the noise that it was making, the wind, wasn't getting very good sleep. So even with earplugs in, music, it still was tough to get a good night's sleep, which definitely affected my grades and so forth. But yeah, the rain was the tough part. And then in the morning, it was rough getting everything back into the house because it's raining, so I have all these wet sheets and blankets now, and just putting together a wet tent, and then the next night you're setting up a wet tent, and it was just really unpleasant. So yeah. I'll try to avoid it. I would if I had to. I think as far as places to live in a tent is concerned, I think SLO is definitely the more manageable places, just because the climate. It did rain when I was in the tent, but most nights it didn't. The weather held up, and it's pretty mild. I think it's definitely doable here, but as far as productivity is concerned, I wasn't getting nearly as much done as I should have been doing, especially being a full-time student. I had a part-time job, and I was drained. I wasn't getting the required amount of sleep every night because I had a hard time falling asleep. It was super loud outside, the wind's banging things around, and then I have to wake up early every day it's about a 30-minute routine to pack everything up, break the tent down, put it back inside, and then at night it takes another about 30 minutes to set it back up. So it was an experience. It makes me appreciate living indoors, but I think if push came to shove, if I was in a rough situation again, I would, but I'd avoid it at all costs.
The house that I was going to live in, it was $933 to share a room. So for next year, I'm thinking, well, because the house that my current roommates are going to be living in is too expensive, I'm thinking about subleasing from somebody that lives in a garage that pays $600, because I don't want to live in a house and pay too much money.
It's a really small room, kind of the size of a dorm room, and we pay about $675. Well, in Mustang, we had a bit of a rat problem, so it was over like Thanksgiving break. There was a rat that like ran across the bathroom, and so we set a bunch of traps, and then we finally found him, and that wasn't very fun. Oh, and in Mustang, we had a leak all winter, and it was the winter where it was raining all the time, and so the way they fixed it was that they didn't, and then they set up like a trash bag on the window so that the leak would go onto the trash bag and into a bucket. It's kind of tough because there's so many factors that go into it, but I think if more students did live on campus, it would be less of an issue off campus. So if they did make more apartments and maybe have a rule that you had to stay on campus your second year, it would make off-campus housing a little better. But I know not all students want to stay on campus. They'd prefer to move off campus, but if you had to stay on campus, I think it would make it a little bit better. And then as for the city of SLO, it's tough because like this neighborhood is just it's like all students, but there's also like not enough room for all of us here. So I don't know like if expanding would work or
thing about helping students find housing that's close to campus and affordable by maybe working with the county, making student discounts and not allowing people to charge people who are going to school too much money for housing, because students already pay a lot of money for food and tuition.